This is Theremin 30. 30 minutes of theremin music, news, events, and interviews with a new episode about every 30 days. Now, here's your host from Denver, Colorado, USA, Rick Reed.
Hi there. Welcome to the June 2019 edition of Theremin 30, the monthly podcast for all things theremin. I've got some really diverse and fun music queued up for you this month, and as always, all of the tracks are featured here with the permission of the recording artists. I'll also tell you about some theremin-related concerts and events to check out, and I've got an interview with composer and multi-instrumentalist Eric Ross. Let's get right into the music. In about 3 minutes, you'll hear the theremin in a folk music setting from the Manitoba, Canada duo Leaf Rapids. But first, here's a Brazilian-influenced track from right here in Denver, Colorado. And I have no idea what the lyrics are about. These are the Inactivists from their dreaded concept album, and a song called The Esperanto Samba.
Attentu la nocton de la eclipso incubo levigis de nogereseo cun li armeo de momanai vampiroi ni batulu apud lesbianai angeloi La Esperanta Sambeo mir tusch os vil Le manjos vi ein vanoin Sango fluos mal supron lia mentono Usanta la sonon della accordiono Ili obeu liain ordonoin La Esperanta Sambeo mir tusch os de mia sambao Save la homoron de la zambioe Mi instruos la pulsa na hordon Dansi fiorose kai simie
Oh, where will you go, dear sister? They said to get your suitcase packed. It is splitting at the seams. It is splitting at the seams. to get your suitcase packed. It is splitting at the seams. It is splitting at the seams. At the seams.
We started that set with the Inactivists featuring Victoria Lundy on theremin and Scott Livingston on lead Esperanto vocals. After that, I played a song called Dear Sister by Leaf Rapids from their current album Citizen Alien. Be sure to check out the official music video on YouTube. There's a link to it on the website. Leaf Rapids are a duo from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Carrie Latimer sings lead vocals and plays theremin and acoustic guitar. Her husband, Devin Latimer, plays bass. As of June 1st, they are in the middle of a quick European tour with a full slate of concerts around Germany and the Netherlands through June 8th. They will also be playing several festivals around Canada over the next few months. You can check out their performance schedule at leafrapids.org or on the Theremin 30 website. And that's a good segue into the calendar of Theremin events. June 14th through the 17th, you can catch Pepperland in Costa Mesa, California. The Beatles-themed modern dance performance features Rob Schwimmer on theremin. Rob will also be playing theremin, piano, and Hawken Continuum in Asheville, North Carolina on June 5th. Dorrit Chrysler will be providing live accompaniment to an experimental film series called 3 Episodes of Life this month in Vienna, Austria. Sarah Rice will bring her Music of the Night show to London, England on June 16th. And finally, Torvald Jorgensen has 2 performances in Switzerland on June 21st and 22nd. Let's hear some music from Torvald right now. Of course, he's best known for performing traditional classical music, but he's a composer too. Here is his original ambient composition called Distant Shores for theremin, loop station, and voice, recorded live at the Royal Conservatory in The Hague. There's more music to come on the Theremin 30 podcast, and I'll visit with avant-garde recording artist Eric Ross, so stay tuned. My special guest this month is Eric Ross, an avant-garde composer and multi-instrumentalist based in Binghamton, New York. I talked with him via cell phone about some of his unique and fascinating experiences involving the theremin. Eric Ross, thank you so much for being on Theremin 30.
Thanks, it's nice to be here.
To get us started, tell us how you got involved in the theremin. What was your introduction to the instrument, and what did you like about it that attracted you?
I got involved in it. I was working with my wife in a place called the Experimental Television Center, which was an early public access studio. And not only did they have cameras, but they also had video synthesizers and processing modules. And I was looking through a catalog though one day, and I saw advertisement for a theremin. I said, well, this would be fun. And so I had some engineers put it together for me, and it was pretty remarkable. But I quickly realized it was a very difficult instrument to play, since there's no fretboard, there's no keyboard. But after staying with it for a few years, in 1982, I was able to use it on my first solo record album in New York City, the jazz label called Doria Records, album called Songs for Synthesized Soprano. And that album really built me out in terms of sales and reviews and airplay. And I know a lot of other musicians had picked up on it. Miles Davis, Pierre Boulez, John Cage, they all had that album. I think part of the reason for its success was the theremin. And I've used it in all of my major compositions since then.
You are in upstate New York. Did you get a chance to meet or work with Bob Moog when he had his factory in Trumansburg?
Well, actually, I met Bob in the early 90s. We did some workshops and performances together up at Cornell University. And then I met him later and spent quite a bit of time with him in Portland, Maine, when there was the first International Theremin Festival up there. Lydia Tarina and I were the two master teachers, and Bob was the technical consultant on that. And we got to meet and hang out for quite a bit of time. And he was actually testing the Ether Vox theremin, then with a MIDI, and I got to play that. He was a great guy, great inventor, and a really nice person. And he really liked what I was doing with the theremin. He said what I was doing was very unique with the instrument, and he hoped that I would keep on with it. I also, in the early days, got to meet Clara Rockmore, who was the great virtuoso of the theremin. After I released the Soprano album, somebody said to me, why don't you go see that old lady up on 57th Street? And I said, who's that? And he told me, Clara Rockmore. So I called her up, and she invited me over for tea, and we got to meet several times, and a couple of times she played for me. She was still an absolutely amazing player. And she inspired me to write a concerto for two theremins. My original idea was to have her and I play the two parts, and we eventually did that piece at Lincoln Center with an orchestra there. But she didn't play. I had another fellow named Yusef Yancey, who was a jazz thereminist, one of the few guys that I knew at that time. He had played with Sun Ra and Ornette and Muhal Abrams and those guys. So we did that concert for two theremins at Lincoln Center. She was a real inspiration to me, too. And later on in 91, I got a call from Stephen Martin, who produced a movie called The Electronic Odyssey of Leon Theremin. And he called me up one afternoon. He said, Eric, he said, if you want to meet Theremin, he said, I got him in a room in the Mayfair Hotel here in New York City. Come on down. I said, okay. I said, when? He said, right now. I said, I'm on my way. He said, I'm doing your theremin. So I did. I brought the theremin down, and we plugged it in and set it up, and Professor Theremin came in, and I played for a little while, and then I plugged it through my wah-wah pedal, and he had never heard that before. So he wanted to try that himself, which he did to good effect. And then later he told me he had plans to build a polyphonic theremin, but he didn't actually do it because when he went back to Russia shortly thereafter, he passed away. In fact, he never saw the movie, The Electronic Odyssey, either.
I was at the premiere at Sundance.
Well, those filmed about 15 minutes of Theremin and I playing and talking, but it didn't make it into the movie. Steve told me it wasn't because his clips weren't any good or anything. He said it's just he was trying to tell the story and he didn't have time. But I did get a couple of credits at the end for being a production assistant and consultation and that. But just the fact that, I got to meet him and Cora Rockmore and Bob Moog, those three people, I think, primarily influenced me with the theremin and encouraged me to continue on using it.
Your musical interests cover a pretty wide range of styles. How would you describe your theremin music style?
Well, I would just call it new music or perhaps avant-garde. I mean, that's my main interest with it, the different idioms. I found the theremin fit into a lot of different contexts. in that way.
You have some performances coming up this summer. What can audiences expect?
I have a couple solo performances coming up, and then I'm going to do some with my avant-garde trio. We'll be doing new works. Basically, the works that I've been doing these days will include video by my wife, Mary Ross. And she was a video artist and photographer. We made these pieces together, and I scored the video for Theremin and other works so that we can perform live with them. So it's kind of a multimedia section, and other kinds that oftentimes I bring in a dancer. I've been working with dancers also since the 80s and incorporate them into the score. So it's like a whole multimedia sort of performance.
That sounds great. I'd like to catch a show sometime.
I hope you do, yes.
I feel like I've known you for a long time through the internet. It's great to finally get a chance to visit with you.
I think it's a good thing that you're doing, again, helping to keep the theremin alive and in people's consciousness.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Nick. Best wishes.
Let's finish this month's podcast with music from Eric Ross from his 2014 live album, Music from the Future for Theremin and Ensemble. This track is called East EQ Zone.
Out of the infinite swirling, boy, 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 boy. And the word becomes tincture of the scream. I dream west of fear. Touch my hand. I dream. Listening to my single together, trying to keep it. Submit and sing with your shrine. Keep it slow to minute. My hand to keep it try works. And hit the last spoken day. Bongo was king of toy, but died young. Who smashed my SG? Drive brick boats. Do you know that's up to She rides into her room, the one only she's tuned into. She's under the shadow of the one she now, only face to the mirror. She tries to stare into the hole in her eye.
I'm so grateful to Eric Ross and the other artists who provided music for this episode. You can find out more about each of them by following the links at theremin30.com. Please show them your support by buying their music and attending their performances. Also, be sure to subscribe to Theremin 30 wherever you get your podcasts. In the July episode, I'll be featuring the music of Dorit Chrysler and Matteo Ciminari. I'm also planning an interview with Michelle Mogukusa about the new Moguseum in Asheville, North Carolina, with a preview of the grand opening event scheduled for Leon Theremin's birthday. Finally, I want to remind you that if you have a recording of your own original Theremin music, please do send it in. I'd like to spotlight as many artists and genres as I possibly can. I'm your host, Rick Reed. Thank you for tuning in.
You've been listening to the Theremin 30 podcast. Visit Theremin 30 on the web at theremin30.com.